Hi, I'm Amy and welcome back to my channel. I'm a relationship mentor and I specialise in healing attachment styles so that you can feel secure and fulfilled in your relationships. And in today's video, I'm going to discuss whether two opposing attachment styles can make it in the long run. Can two opposing attachment styles make it work in a relationship and make it last? So stick around to the end of the video. I will give you all of my advice. I will give you my personal experience of this and how I help my relationship flourish despite being two opposing attachment styles. But before I dive in, if you like this channel, please consider subscribing and liking this video so others can see it. I've also got a 30-day mindset shift challenge here on the shorts section on YouTube that you can join along through the month of May. And I've also got a Patreon group set up, which I will link in the description box below so that you can pop on over there and have a look. So let's dive in. Can two opposing attachment styles work? The short answer is yeah, they can work. And in fact, there's millions of people the world over that are in a relationship or married to somebody who is the opposing attachment style to them. In fact, only 30% of the world's population are secure. And personally, I think that's less. I think it's less of a percentage than 30%. So this is proof that it can work. However, this time last year, I was really diving into my attachment style and doing some real deep inner work on healing it. And I was anxious, preoccupied, leaning towards fearful avoidant. And my partner was dismissive avoidant. So we were opposing, essentially. And on paper, I could not see any way that this was going to work out. Our needs were completely different for one. And, you know, I had a really high need for love and affection, and he had a really high need for autonomy and freedom. And for the life of me, I couldn't see how we could ever get close to moving in together because his needs were that high. And I didn't know what to do. But saying that, it did work. And we do work as a couple, and I believe that the reasons for this is because we both took leaving off the table and we both committed to making the changes we needed to make to help the relationship work. And this meant that I had to break some of what my patterns were, and he did too. So I really had to break down the neediness and the desperation to get the relationship moving forward. And, you know, I had to really start listening to him and start giving space, which was really uncomfortable for me to begin with. I wasn't used to doing that. And he had to get used to the fact that, you know, if the relationship was going to move forward, he would have to accept that we would have to, at some point, live together. And he had to deal with quite a lot of fear around that he'd that had protected him over years and years and years. So we both had to really commit to make the changes that needed to be made for the relationship to work. So if you're in this situation, and say for example you were like me and you're anxious, preoccupied, or your partner's dismissive, avoidant, and you know you could be stuck in this cycle of not knowing how it's going to work and trying to convince the other person, you know, really trying to get them to agree to something, or even resorting to manipulative tactics unconsciously. Now, what my advice on this would be is to start working on your own attachment style. Forget about theirs for the moment and start working on your own attachment style and your own patterns. And the reason why this worked for me was when I, as I said before, dropped the neediness and desperation, he realized that he could have his freedom and be in a relationship. Whereas before, I completely smothered him and I smothered the relationship because of what my needs were. I also had to start to consider what his needs were and how I could meet them, how I could help him have what he wanted and the relationship. And this is a two-way street because obviously he had to make changes as well. He had to make changes to meet what my needs were and had to make the extra effort for me, which we were both happy to do. And over time, the conflict got less and less, and the relationship sort of sorted itself out, for want of a better phrase. It did. I mean, when we were both working on what our patterns were and working on healing ourselves and confronting what our fears were, the rest sorted itself out. And it didn't take long for us to make the step that we needed to make to take the relationship forward. Now, say for example, you've got a partner who is not interested in what their attachment style is. They aren't interested in inner work or inner healing, and they're happy bumbling along in life with their attachment style and don't really see that there's any issue with it. Then that is the time where you do need to double down on yourself, because you can't make somebody change. You can't convince somebody to change. They have got to want to. And when you start healing your own attachment style, you will either show them that healing work and healing your attachment style, and when you're doing work on yourself and when they see you change, they will change. Their perception of you will change. Their perception of the relationship will automatically change. And failing that, you might have to start setting quite firm boundaries. You might have to start really considering whether this relationship is for you, because I can tell you now, when you start healing and when you start moving the needle towards secure, you won't settle anymore. You won't settle for less than what you deserve. And sometimes, unfortunately, that does mean letting go of a relationship. But either way, being stuck in a dysfunctional behaviour pattern or a dysfunctional attachment style isn't doing you any good, regardless of whether you're with that person or not. So give yourself the best chance and really start investing in your own healing and your own inner work, so that you can have the relationship that you want, because it's out there. If it's with that person, great. If it's not, great. You're not stuck with that person. So I hope this video has been helpful for you. If you liked it, please consider subscribing to the channel and liking this video so others can see it. But I will see you in the next video.